Today, I'm here with Rosita, who's a multi-entrepreneur and super inspiring. And her journey from kind of like the corporate world, being in the corporate world for 25 years to doing what she is doing now is so inspiring. But the reason why or why I have invited her to join us here is to actually talk a little bit more about LinkedIn and why she now is embracing LinkedIn as her main platform. So for you who don't know me, my name is Josephine Warner. And I'm also a former corporate executive turned entrepreneur, and I help my clients to grow their audiences on LinkedIn. So hi, Rosita. I'm so happy to have you here.
Hello. Well, I'm more than delighted to be here. It's actually an honor. Thank you for having me on board.
Thank you. So you need to tell us a little bit. Yeah, you need to tell us a little bit more about yourself and what it is that you do.
Almighty. Well, I'm on a mission, and the mission is to be visible in social media. And the reason why I do so, it's actually quite funny. I'm from Switzerland, by the way, so you might hear my English being a little bit crazy at times. The reason why I really fighting for this being visible in social media is because I was working on stages. I was a professional belly dancer for over 20 years, having my school, my events, my teaching, teach the teachers, name it. There's nothing I haven't done. And then I had this desire of doing more on social media. And I realized there are actually two worlds. I had no problem being on stage. I had major problems showing myself and actually saying, I wouldn't use the word something intelligent, but saying something that really comes from me. And so that was the desire. And there's another reason. I'm actually 64. And I didn't want to stop working because I thought I've learned so much about trying to be visible, to be yourself, and that I just wanted to continue. And that's when I discovered you.
Yeah, well, we discovered each other, I would say. We actually met at an event for online entrepreneurs. And, sometimes people are just attracted. And I think we were attracted to each other. And you asked me then, so what is it that you do? And I was like, yeah, I'm starting a course on LinkedIn. You were like immediately like, I'm in, count me in. And you were one of my first clients inside of LinkedIn Breakthrough. So it's like taking I would say an attraction and then building a relationship based on that. I think that is so amazing. And I think that is the whole energy of actually just kind of building relationships based on energy. But if we move it back a little bit to your own journey, because we also, before we pressed record on this one, we spoke a little bit about Facebook and Instagram, because you are amazing at Instagram. You go live on Instagram and on Facebook. So tell us a little bit about that journey and why you then decided actually to, well, I think I should add LinkedIn to my portfolio too.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because I don't mean they are two separate worlds based on the perspective of today, but I'm actually going back to the day when I started on Facebook. And that was, I think, the previous century. But I started because all of my colleagues, or at least those that had a name, were on Facebook. So here I am, and I say, well, I have to go onto Facebook too. And what I posted were a few pictures about my dancing, sometimes about me going for a walk, but I did not really use it. And then only very recently, I think this was maybe 5 years ago, I said, well, Instagram is quite something interesting. So that was shortly before the lockdowns. And I started posting there. But what I didn't have is what I learned from you, and I have to point that out because I give you lots of credit for that, was that I just did not have a path. I was just posting. And the same happens on LinkedIn. When somebody has no guidance or no clear idea as to what you want to do, you just show up, you just post, you just do things without really having a path. And I was missing a path. So yes, I was going live, and yes, I was posting a lot, but not really with a clear message. And this call to action, or this clear idea as to what is it that you want to convey. And when you pointed out LinkedIn to me, I said to myself, she's so this girl is so energetic. She has so much passion for LinkedIn. And for me, this was actually always a no-go. This is only for professionals. I'm not looking for a job. It's for corporates and whatever. And I said, that's why I immediately said, yes, I'm in, because I was eager to discover. And that's just me. I'm super creative, and I just love to find out what else is possible. And I saw kind of a little bit of a window for me.
Yeah, and I think you also mentioned, like right now, you said, well, I'm on a path, I'm doing something. And I said when we started this that you are like a multi-passionate, multi-entrepreneur, and you are doing, or you have been doing so many things. And now you're actually stepping up again to
Mm-hmm.
and if we look at like a business like a hockey stick, it's like we continue, 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 and then we have like, oh, we're taking off. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where you are currently, Rosita. And you are now building a part of your business that maybe was a little bit seed growing inside of you, but now you're really
Mm-hmm.
taking action on that. So do you want
Yeah.
to tell a little bit more about what is it that you're building currently?
Actually, with pleasure. Let me just go back to something you said. For me, a journey is, imagine you go for a hike and you have valleys and you have mountains, and there are like 3 4 people at different levels. One is at the top, one is middle, and one is deep in the valley. You're going to have a different vision of what you do, and you have to, once you walk up the next step and you grow onto your path, you'll have a different view. So you can't expect to be down at the bottom of the valley and be super duper. I mean, I'm into mindset. So let's say, for example, Tony Robbins, I can't expect myself to be at the bottom of the valley and say, well, he has all of these million people. That's not me. And you know what? I realized that actually there might be people who rather be with me than with somebody that is so powerful. Let's stick with Tony Robbins, so powerful, so energetic. That might be good at another level of your journey. And
Mm.
that really gave me courage, because these highs and lows, which I had about constantly doubting and having the feeling I'm not good enough, I need to take another course, and oh yeah, this book would be good. And I have a few books in my cupboard that I've never opened, because once the book arrived, I was onto something else. So this constant fighting with myself, I tell myself, I'm not the only one on planet Earth having this problem. And that's what I made my mission to. So to come back to the question you asked, I want to help women grow their visibility online, so
Mm.
that they have that's them today, and then they have this path where they want to go, which actually tells them all the ABC, the technique and the checklists and name it, but they're stuck on the middle. So I'm trying to be that bridge to help them gain self-confidence and fight a little bit with their fears and understand where they come from and actually use them as a strength. So I'm not teaching them their business, because that's their expertise, but I'm trying to, and that's the game, that's the aim, to walk that bridge so they feel comfortable with themselves.
And I really think that in order for us to be able to help people, we need to have faced those fears ourselves. And as you said in the beginning, that you were really comfortable on being on stage. You were this belly dancer and very like you also in your corporate role created a lot of events and things like that. But it's a different thing. Social media is a different animal, and there are so many people that actually fear it. And now that you have added LinkedIn to your portfolio too, you actually have also a broader kind of like platform to stand on when your clients come to you and say, hey, I prefer being on Instagram, or I prefer being on Facebook, or actually prefer being on LinkedIn. And and the path or the strategy that you mentioned, it can be used for all of the different platforms. And I think the difference
Mm-hmm.
I'm making also is more like we build relationships, we build connections. And when you and I first met and you said, I'm in, count me in, I didn't say, yeah, here's the bill, you have to pay now. That's absolutely not how we do it. We kind of build relationships first. And then we
Mm-hmm.
see, is that, do you have a problem that I can solve? And do you want me to solve the problem? Because that's also what you
Mm-hmm.
said is like, Tony Robbins or whomever, but it's like sometimes we think that, oh, why should someone pick me when they could go with Tony Robbins or Mel Robbins or whomever? It's actually
Mm-hmm.
because people do want to work with people where they aren't just a number. They want to work with someone who really sees them. And I think
Yeah.
that is something that both you and I do. We see and connect with people on a total different level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's it's really true. That's what it's not because I met you at the event that I mean, of course, that played a role too, but it's just the way you approach, the way you lead the conversation, and it's the same with Angela, who I'm currently going through her program to run webinars. It's this personal touch which is missing, and I think if anybody watching this is interested in building up the future, I think that's where the future is, to become human. We've walked through so many paths where everything was artificial, which is what Instagram was at the beginning. You have to be perfect, filter this and that. You're not allowed to stumble. I mean, I drank some water now, but that's okay. That's just me. And what I had to realize, and that was really quite kind of my birth to what I'm doing today, is that I'm allowed to be who I am. And if you don't like me, well, then switch off and you can keep on
Yeah.
scrolling. But this intimacy, which is available for people like you and me and Angela and many others. I mean, I want to add, I'm sorry, I talk a lot.
No, it's
what I,
okay.
what I
Continue.
really want to add is that a little bit going back to your previous question, the difference between Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn is that I discovered so many incredible people on LinkedIn. The conversations are different. And it doesn't mean because you enter a conversation that something is going to happen. But every time I see a post or I add a comment, I get feedback. I get human beings talking to me and appreciating or going into a discussion with me because of something. And that is, for me, that's a dream world. And I still love Instagram. I'm still on Facebook, but it's surely it no longer is my first go-to place. My first go-to place is LinkedIn.
And yeah, especially, we as smaller creators, is like when we post on LinkedIn, we still get a lot of reactions, we get a lot of engagement. If
Mhm.
When I post on Instagram, and by the way, I grew way faster on LinkedIn than I did over the years on Instagram. It's like probably also because I didn't connect with people. I didn't treat
Mhm.
it the way I should have treated it. But it's like you see huge creators on Instagram who post something and they do reels and whatnot. And they have so little engagement. It's like you do all this work and you create so much content all the time. And
Mhm.
you don't even know if it hits home. So that is why
Mhm.
it's so important to, I wouldn't say go all in on LinkedIn and nothing else, because you never know what happens, right? So it's like, don't place all your eggs in one basket. But if you want to have quick results and want to get like quick connections and relationships, then LinkedIn is easier to actually find those connections. So Rosita, how
Mhm.
can people best find you? I mean, we do see your name, but where would you say they should find you and connect with you?
Well, let's say just type my name. I'm definitely here under my name. You can see it, Rosita Arnold, no secret. And on Instagram, you'll find me as Rosita So Free. But if you type my name, I'm pretty sure you'll find me as well. And yeah, just get in touch, ask your questions, don't be shy. And I think that's one thing that I learned really over time is just don't hesitate. If you feel like doing something, just do it. Make a decision, make the next step, and just see what happens. Don't be hesitant and worried.
And I'll, anyways, independent of where we post this, where we spread this amazing message, I will make sure that you are tagged in all of the places so that people can find you and
Thank
connect with you.
you.
Thank you so much, Rosita. And I can't wait. Our journey has just started, and I can't wait where we are headed next. So I'm really, really happy and really kind of grateful that I get to be part of your journey. So thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.